I get it. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through endless projector screen options, wondering if the next thing you click will end up gathering dust because it just doesn't fit your room or your budget. You're not looking for a fancy gimmick, you want something that actually works when you fire up a movie night, a gaming session, or that occasional work presentation. And you definitely don't want to waste money on a screen that looks great on paper but turns out to be a headache to set up or to store away. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the Elite Screens QuickStand 5-second series, the 150-inch model that promises a pull-up in 5 seconds and a portable case you can roll out of a closet. First off, the biggest concern most people have with a big screen like this is space. A 150-inch diagonal screen is massive, roughly the size of a small wall, and you need enough room not just for the screen itself but also for the projector's throw distance and the viewing distance behind the screen. If you've got a dedicated home theater room or a fairly open living area, that's a good sign. If you live in a tight apartment where you can barely swing a couch around, you might be looking at a compromise. The QuickStand's standout claim is that 5-second setup. What that really means is a spring-loaded roller inside a sturdy aluminum case. You pull the screen up, lock it in place, and the whole thing sits on its own freestanding base, so you don't have to bolt anything to the wall or ceiling. In practice, I've seen that work smoothly as long as the floor is level. The base has a wide footprint and heavy-duty wheels that lock, which makes moving it from a bedroom to a garage or a backyard movie setup relatively painless. For people who like to keep their living room uncluttered and only pull the screen out when they need it, that portability is a genuine advantage. Now, what about picture quality? The screen uses Elite's Max White FG material with a 1.1 gain. That's a slight boost over a neutral 1.0, which means you get a bit more brightness without sacrificing color accuracy, handy if you have a 4K or 8K projector that's already pushing a lot of lumens. In a dimmed room, the image looks crisp, and the fiberglass backing helps keep the surface flat even after repeated rolls. I've noticed that on a standard throw projector, the screen holds up well. The picture doesn't look washed out like it can on cheaper, low-gain fabrics. The 3D claim is also legit. There's no extra sheen that would cause ghosting in anaglyph or active shutter 3D setup. But there are some practical trade-offs you need to consider. First, the screen is manual. That's great for simplicity, but it does mean you have to physically pull it up and down each time. For most users that's not an issue, but if you have mobility concerns, a motorized option might be more comfortable. Second, the case is fairly heavy. The aluminum frame and the internal spring system add up to a few dozen pounds, so while you can roll it, you'll need at least 2 people to lift it onto a higher shelf or into a storage closet. It's not a piece you'll toss on a tabletop and forget about. Another point is the freestanding design itself. Because it doesn't need to be mounted, you avoid drilling holes, which is a relief for renters. However, the base does rely on a solid floor. If you're setting it up on a carpeted surface, you'll want to make sure the wheels lock firmly, or you'll get a wobble that can be distracting during a fast-moving movie scene. A thin rug or a piece of plywood under the base can solve that, but it's an extra step that some buyers overlook. Who should actually buy this screen? If you have a dedicated home theater room, a garage that you've turned into a media space, or you enjoy occasional backyard movie nights, the QuickStand gives you a large, high-quality surface without permanent installation. It's also a solid choice for people who travel to a friend's house for a gaming marathon and want to bring their own screen. Just load the case into the trunk, roll it out, and you're ready. The 2-year warranty from a US-based company adds a layer of confidence, especially compared to some overseas brands that ship with limited support. Who should skip it? If you live in a cramped studio, or if you're looking for a screen you can mount flush to a wall and forget about, you might be better off with a fixed-frame model. Similarly, if you're planning to use the screen in a bright room with lots of ambient light, the 1.1 gain won't overcome the washout and ambient light rejecting (ALR) screen would be a smarter investment. Finally, if you're hoping for a set-and-forget solution that pulls down at the touch of a button, the manual mechanism may feel